Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. This is Renee and today we're going to take a look at the Cezanne um, colored pencils. Now the only ones I have are the 72 set before they started numbering them. So I have them all numbered myself and I have sorted them in color order myself. So um, I do believe when I took them out of the box, they were pretty much in this order, but I can't remember. It's been a while. So the Cezanne pencils are a wax-based pencil. And what I mean by wax-based, there's an artistic term called wax-based, and dealing with colored pencils, there's wax-based and there's oil-based. The difference between the two is that the wax-based pencils are more wax than oil. An oil-based pencil is more oil, less wax, or a harder wax. That it all depends upon the manufacturers or the creators' formulation. So if the formulation calls for 50% oil and 25% pigment and 25% wax, that is going to be classified as an oil-based pencil. All pencils have oil and wax in them. It's all dependent upon the numbers in the formula. So just so I can get that out of the way, I have had a couple of questions about the differences between oil and wax, and that's basically the difference. Oil-based pencils are normally a little bit smoother, and the wax they use in it is a little bit harder, creating a stiffer core, but a smooth core. So that's why when you color with a wax-based pencil, sometimes the cores can feel really, really, really soft. Like, for example, Prisma. Prisma is a wax-based pencil, and I find I mash wax-based pencils sometimes. I've gotten a lot better with it, but when I first started coloring, I started coloring with a wax-based pencil and found that the more expensive wax-based pencils, I couldn't color with them very well. So I stuck with my oil-based pencils, such as the Brute Funers and the Scharfer Faben. And then I got the Prismas and really stuck with them with the oil base, because I would go through a pencil just doing one picture and go halfway through the pencil because I was pressing too hard and mashing that lead down and wasn't keeping that point. As you can see, this is an older set, so I have used them quite a bit, and they have all got really good points. I do sharpen my pencils often, especially when I use them, and I'm currently using them on a picture that I started on Tips and Tricks, or not Tips and Tricks, on Fun Stuff Friday, doing the woodless colored pencils that I got for the skin tones. So I'm doing the background and other things in that picture with these pencils. So currently they are sharpened and I am using them. So now about the Cezanne. The great thing about Cezanne, they are a wax-based pencil, but they are a little bit firmer than most wax-based pencils. They don't mash quite as well, or as not as quite as well. They don't mash quite as much as, say, the Prismas. They are bonded all the way down the core. So when you break a pencil, you're not finding that the core just slips right out. So if you break a pencil and you sharpen it, it's still in there. When I bought this set, the only set that was available was a 72 set, and the only place that it was available was on Jerry's Artorama. and that's where I purchased mine from. They do have a 72 set on Jerry's Artorama that is numbered, as well as the 120 set, which is also numbered. And just a little heads up, they are a little bit cheaper on Jerry's Artorama than they are on Amazon. So I will be posting the link to Jerry's Artorama with these pencils so that you can take a look at them there and compare them to Amazon. So other than that, let's take a look at the swatches, because I do have swatches, of course. So I'm going to move the pencils out of the way. This is, of course, what we're going to be coloring, just to show you what the pencils can do. But here's our swatch sheet. And like I said, I have numbered them myself. I'm going to turn this off so that you don't get the glare. So there's, the yellows into the oranges, into the reds, and it has a really good selection of yellows, reds, oranges, into the burgundies, into the red violets, pinks, into the violets, into the blues. Now this violet here I thought was a blue, so it should actually be up here, but and I just went by what color was on the pencil, because as you can see, the pencils are wonderfully colored on the end. So, and it gives you a large amount of colored space, not just a little tiny bit on the end. So you can definitely see what color you're grabbing. Of course, they have the Saison mark. This mark here is from the, not the manufacturer, but the reseller of the Saisons. Altogether, they're a lovely pencil. They've got a gold coating on this part of the shaft, and then it goes down into the colors. They remind me a lot of the Sharper Faben barrels. They're a little bit thinner than the Sharper Faben, but they remind me a lot of the Sharper Faben barrels. It goes down into the greens, and this set has a huge amount of greens. It doesn't have as much lighter greens as I would like it's got a really, really pale green here, and then 2 bright greens here. And then the rest of them are pretty dark. And then it goes into the cream colors and the skin tones, and then into your stone, like your terracotta colors. That's it. The oranges and the reddy browns and that sort of thing for your terracotta colors into your browns. And it has one really, really light brown here. And they've got a tannier brown up here that I thought was a yellow, so put it up in the yellows. And then it goes down into the grays. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this 72 set is it doesn't have a lot of light grays. It has one light gray, and it's not all that light. So that is one thing I'm not very fond of with this set. Now, what I have found using this set is when I purchased the set, I thought, 72 colors is going to be a lot of colors. And this is during a time when I first started coloring. So most of the sets that I had, except for the Brute Funers, were a smaller set. I found that I was reaching for the Brute Funers a lot more often than I was reaching for this set, because of the fact that it had a lot more colors. Now this set has a 120 set that has more colors, and I haven't purchased it yet, but I am on the fence of, do I want to or not? Because like I showed you, most of my pencils, they're used, but there's still plenty of use in them. And I don't like replacing something that has a lot of use in it. I can buy them to go with these and, use these as a backup. But like I said, they're not going to match up number-wise, because I had to place these numbers on here myself. So with that, it might be a little bit more difficult to replace a pencil with one of these pencils. And I'm not sure if the formula has changed or anything like that since buying this set of pencils. But I'm still on the fence with it, and if I do purchase a new set of the Saisons, the 120 set, I will definitely let you know, and I will, of course, review them. So we're going to color this wonderful little fishy picture here, and we're going to do the fishies in, oh, let's see, what color should we do the fishies in? Let's do the fishies in, see, there's a lot of oranges there and browns there. So let's do it with oranges and yeah, maybe a little bit of rainbow effect. So what I'm going to start off with, and this may seem a little odd to you, I'm going to turn this light on so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to switch you over to the other camera here so that you can see what I'm doing too. Okay, so what we're working on is this little fishy here. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the scales with the red pencil. And this will be blended in. As you can see, the pigment lays down very, very nicely. And it's quite a bright color, if you can see that. Of course, the camera is not liking, I don't know why it does this. Every once in a while, no matter what I do, like I completely configured this video camera before coming on stream today so that it would be in focus. And for some reason, it has shifted out of focus again. So I'm just going to focus it in here for you. Oh, that's too far. There we go. Now I'm going to bring it in so you can see what I'm doing. Hack. There we go. That's perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I know I do it every single time. It's a normal occurrence with me. I don't know why it does that. And I think the more I do videos, you know, the possibility of maybe getting a new camera might be one of those things that I need to do. So what I'm doing is I'm just going over and around the scales of this fish with this red. Because I'm going to take a yellow and then an orange, or an orange and then a yellow, and I'm going to give it that goldfish type of look. I know it's not a true goldfishy type of fish, but it's just one that I like the look of. And not all fishies that are that color are just goldfish. Okay, so we've got the fishy colors going there. Now we're going to take our orange and we're just going to fill in a little bit around the bottom of each scale. And you'll see that the color is going down really nice and it's blending into that red color that I have down there. which is what I want it to do, which is making that orange look a little reddy, or a little bit like a red orange, which I could have definitely done with a red orange, but it wouldn't give me the same effect once I put the yellow down. And then we're going to go into his face. And as you can see, I'm not putting down a lot of pressure. I have learned in the past that if you put down too much pressure, you're not going to have the ability to layer and layer and layer. So you'll end up finding that the layers that you've put down are the only layers that you're going to have the ability to bring together. And they're blending together quite nice. I'm still getting the yellow areas where I want them to be. And the yellow is brightening that orange and that red. Now, when I first saw these pencils, they reminded me a lot of the Sharper Fabens in their look. And then when I saw that they were a wax-based pencil, I shied away from them for quite some time. Because like I said, with wax-based pencils, I have a tendency to mash them. And I found with these that they're a lot like the Sharper Fabens, with their texture as well as and their laydown. I like the Sharper Fabens better because you can get a few more layers out of them than you can with these ones. But all in all, the color that you get from these is absolutely gorgeous. It's very bright, it's very vivid, and that is basically what you're looking for, right? Now I'm going to find my Prismacolor blender because these are a wax-based pencil. I want to blend it with a wax-based blender. And of course I have things everywhere that, no, that's an oil. And I can't seem to keep things where they're supposed to be lately. I don't know what's going on with me. I know the video today is a little bit later than my normal video time, but that's because I woke up this morning with a horrible migraine and didn't get out of bed. So as you can see, I'm just blending those colors together and getting rid of whatever harsh lines are left, but still trying to leave those colors vibrant without putting too much of the other colors into that yellow. And there's one of our fishy fishies. Now I'm going to do the other one, and then we'll move on to the bubbles and the little plants. Once again, I'm just going around the fish's scales with that red. And like I said before, you could do this with a red orange, but when you go over it with the yellow, it's going to change that red orange. Instead of change the red into a red orange, it'll change that red orange into more of a orange color, which is not what I wanted. So That is why I'm using the red. And then we're going to grab the orange. Just very, very, very lightly. These scales are a lot smaller, so try not to get too hyper with it. And then we'll grab the yellow. Now this is a bright yellow, almost a sunflower kind of yellow. It's a little bit darker than a lemon yellow, but not as dark as a tanny brown or anything like that. It's not as yet light or as dark as a honey yellow, kind of golden yellow. So it's more of a sunflower kind of yellow, or sunshine yellow, I guess. And just going over gently. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting video because tomorrow I have a bit of a review and some tricks and tips on how to use watercolor paint brushes, like paint pens. So that should be fun. We'll have the green matte back for that. So just because I need to tape down what I'm using. And we just go through. I know most of my videos are little tips and tricks here and there, but that's just because I can't shut up. So I don't like it when it's too quiet on a video. So I tend to talk a lot. You know, if I had maybe some music going or something, but so I'm just coloring in the seagrass here. Trying to decide if these are pebbles down here or if they're bubbles or pearls. That sort of thing. Maybe we'll do a little bit of liquid pearl on it. Make them all little pearls. Okay, so I've got the dark green down. Now I'm going to take the only really pale green that is in the set. And it's a very, very pale green. And I'm just going to go over, because as you can see, I did that very, very loosely. There's little spots of white in it and whatnot. The reason for that is because I want to go over that with this pale green and brighten it a little bit. And when you take a dark color like that and then you go over it with your lighter color, I find that it brightens that darker color up. Sometimes it will take it over completely, but it all depends upon how dark you're going. Like if you're only going one shade above your lighter color, then you may end up with it taking it over, and then you may want to do the lighter shade first. But because there's such a drastic difference in the brightness and darkness of those pencils, those colors. It just seems to brighten it up a little bit. Changes the color just slightly to a point where it's a little bit brighter, especially in the areas that I colored very lightly. And that's what I wanted it to do. I really, really don't know why that camera's making everything look so dark. We'll take a look at it on the other camera as well, just so that you can get a better idea of the look that I went for there. Now we're going to take a bit of a sea foam type of green. And of course, this one needs to be sharpened. And of course, I'm using my doll. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. 133 crank sharpener. I love this sharpener. It just sharpens everything. And it sharpens it to a fantastic point, which is something I just absolutely... I love a really, really good point. On my pencils, I want a really good sharp point. I'm not one for the little dull points. Yeah, and I know it's probably taking more of the pencil than it needs to, but it gives me the ability to get into really tiny little areas that I wouldn't be able to get into. I know a lot of people are able to get into them with the other pencil tip variations. I myself cannot. So I like to have a really good sharp point when I'm getting into these smaller areas. Now we're going to take the next, well, it's not the next one down. This one is a little bit further down. This one's more of a blue-green. That's more of a green-blue. And of course, it's not showing very well on the camera. I'm telling you, I'm really going to need to step it up and pick up another camera, I think. But at this point, it's just not feasible. I keep on looking at them and I can't seem to find one that does exactly what I want it to do. Now I'm going to take this light yellow or this light green and I'm going to go over the areas that I just did, because I find that the blue is a little bit darker than that green that I put down. And I don't want that. I want that to be lighter, more of a sea foamy green kind of, seaweed green kind of color. All right, so we're going to do that first. We're just going to put that down. And that's another thing too, is you can just do little variations of it just to break up the green on green on green. And of course, there's other colors of seaweed down in the ocean. There's purples and pinks and browns and all different colors of seaweed. There's not just green. I just like green. My brain says it's a plant, it needs to be green. Which is silly because, you know, I have seen all different colors of seaweed. And even in aquariums, I've seen all different colors of seaweed. So to just assume that they're all going to be green is... oh well, that's what color I want it to be. I want it to be green. Okay. And now we're going to get our pearls done here at the bottom. And I'm going to make them, well, actually, let's do the water first so that we don't end up coloring over those pearls if we go with a liquid pearl. So I'm just going to go around through this area with a light blue. And I'm doing it very, very lightly. I'm just using a shade technique with the pencil so that I get good coverage, but not really heavy-handed coverage, because I want to go in back in with more of a deeper blue and try to give it some dimension, some depth, as well as some light source through there so that you can see that light reflecting off of some of these plants and that, and the fishes. I know that's called fish, but yeah. That's what happens when little kids talk to you. You end up picking up their language. They're all fishies. I'm going out, extending out just past the seaweed there on either side, and then I'm going to take, I think it's this one, unless I already have it out. No, I'm going to take this one and this one. So this one here is a bit of more of a sky blue. So it's a little bit of a deeper blue. And I'm just going to do little areas of it. And I'm just shading. I'm not trying to get too much and too depth of a color there, just enough that it makes that light blue a little bit darker in certain areas. All right, and then we're going to take this blue green color, and we're going to do the same thing and make some areas a little darker. Like down in the shadows down here. Then we're going to take this light, actually we're going to take a lighter, brighter yellow, and we're just going to color in little beams of light coming off of through the water, like sunbeam hitting that fish. we're going to take this blue and we're just going to go around the bubbles. And just leave a little bit of white in them because, you know, they are supposed to be see-through. And then we'll take our, let's see if I can get them down without making a big mess. So we'll take this one and this one and this one. So we've got platinum pearl and marigold and taffy. And we're going to make little pearls, but first we're going to just blend this together a little bit because it's got more white spot than I want, of course. And as you can see, this pencil does blend very, very well. I was not putting any pressure on that pencil at all, just giving enough for a shade. And even with just enough for a shade, the blender pencil is able to move that pencil around and fill in a lot of those gaps. Another thing that you can do, of course, with your blender and blending this sort of shading is you can take that blender marker that comes with your Prisma blenders and just blend it all together using that as well. And I find that those Prisma marker blenders work so well on their colored pencils and other colored pencils. It actually works really, really nice. So there, I've blended that all together. Now I have to find, there it is. Now we're going to stickle. Well, I guess it's not really called stickles. They're more pearls. That's what they are, pearls. And I missed a couple of spots here. So I'm just going to put a bit of blue in there. Touch up those areas that I've missed. Because, yeah, I do that. I think it's something that it's not, and I miss it. All right, so let's take the purple and just gently fill in the pearl. I like how these give dimension to what you're doing. It's one really cool thing about them is you can either fill it in really flat or you can fill it in really, really heavy, which will give you a nice round look. Just be careful because I find that if you lift up your edge a little bit too quick, you end up with a little bit of a nipple. And I think we'll do Sorry about that. I know I went quiet. Concentration. Concentration. I find I need to concentrate and I go all quiet. Yes, my tongue is sticking out. Does anybody else do that when they're trying to concentrate on something? Stick your tongue out like it helps? If not, then I feel a little weird saying that, but I know I do. I shouldn't have done that one there, but oh well. Should have did it over one. Oh well, not a big deal. Trying to be uniform. Isn't that fun? Okay, and one last one here. There we go. So we've got the treasure on the bottom of the ocean with the cute little fishes. And I love the pearls. I love how they just, isn't that cool? Just the pearlescence of it. Now, as you can probably see, there's a couple of little ones that have the little tiny nipple type things to them, which I don't like, but it will settle itself down. Once it shifts down, I guess. I'm going to switch over to the other camera because this one's all done. And we're going to turn this light off so you can see a little bit better of what we've done. Well, maybe. All right. Bring it in a little closer. All right. So as you can see, the fish are very well done. The reds did turn into the red oranges that I wanted, and the yellows are very bright as well. So it blended together, but it didn't blend out the colors that I wanted to be in it without changing them. The greens and the reds, the greens and the blues and that sort of thing in the water blended together perfectly so that it gave dark areas as well as light areas to reflect that sunshine that's coming through. And of course, you know, the pearls look pearl. See, isn't that cool? Lots of pearls on the bottom. And of course, the greens did beautifully as well. And I'm going to set you back up here so that you can actually see a little better. More than my arm so that you can see the whole desk area. So as I was saying, the Castle Art Studios, those are absolutely gorgeous pencils and they are so easy to use. They smooth down so lovely. And of course, you know, doing a ship in the bottle, you know, absolutely wonderful thing to do with those pencils. The Saison, they are a wonderful pencil. Like I said, I don't keep pencils I don't like. However, they're not my go-to for everything. They are a wax-based pencil, the same as the Castle Arts. But I find that the Castle Arts coverage takes a few less layers. So this one here is still as pigmented with some colors, but there are some colors that are a little less luster, I guess. They're less lacking. They lack the color depth that I would want. Um, this is only a 72 set, where with my Castle Arts is a 120 set. So if I had a choice between only those two, of course I'm going to grab the Castle Arts because it gives me a wider range of color. But in comparison to everything that we have on this page, each and every one of these pictures is absolutely beautiful. Everything from even the Amazon basics all the way down to the Saison. And the Saison are not an inexpensive pencil. They are not a budget-friendly pencil if your budget is below $30. Lately, it seems that there are no such thing as a budget-friendly pencil if your budget is below $30 anymore, unless you're going with Crayola. And even the Crayolas are starting to get a little more expensive. But for a set of pencils, you can get a set of 120 for less than $50 on Jerry's Artorama, for less than $60 on Amazon. So for that kind of money, yeah, it's definitely budget friendly if you're in that price range for the colors that you get, for the quality that you get. The wood in this pencil is very nice. There's no pitting. It sharpens beautifully. The cores seem to be very centered. Um, so, and like I said, they're glued all the way down the shaft, just like the Faber-Castells are. So when you break a tip, you've broken the tip, not the entire pencil, which to me is, I think all pencils should be that way. I don't know why some pencils don't do that. I think all of them should. But all in all, the Saison pencils are a fantastic pencil. I do enjoy using them. And like I said, I am currently using them for a work in progress that I'm working on. And yeah. Keep an eye out. I will be putting out another video today. And for all of you people out there that have watched this video all the way through to the end, you'll have a little bit of a heads up for the video that I am going to be coming out with and the giveaway that will be going with it. So yes, I am going to give this book away. I'm going to do a flip through of Camelia Angelikova's 50 Splendid Princesses. This is the newest book that she has come out with, and I will be doing a flip through of this book later on today. Keep an eye on that flip through and answer the question at the end of that flip through. And as long as you're in the United States and you answer the question in the comment section of the 50 Splendid Princesses video, I will send you this beautiful book. So we will go through that and we'll have some fun with it. Now, just so that you know, it has something to do with this video. So remember everything that I've done in this video, and it will give you the answer to the question I do in this in the flip through of the princesses. So I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm giving you a pretty good hint. I'll give you a really big hint. Just remember what I've used all the way through this video, and then you will know. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not a subscriber to the channel and you enjoy my videos, please do hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I do put a video out every single week, well, every single day of the week, except for Sundays. Sundays I have reserved for special occasions and for special videos. if you want to become a member of our Facebook group, because yes, we have a Facebook group, and that is our coloring corner on Facebook. And if you just want to hit the little link that is in the about section below, it will take you right to it. If you do want to join us, please do make sure that you fill out the application questions. There isn't very many, and we do not accept applications without those questions being answered. Um, what else was there? Of course, almost forgot. Don't forget, relax, color, and stay safe. Thanks a lot, guys. Watch for this video coming out soon. All right, bye-bye for now.